Alright guys, welcome to MoonTune. Thanks for joining in. Today I'm going to go ahead and talk you through and show you how to do an intake air temperature sensor anti-lag system setup for your boosted, I guess 5th gen Camaro, but it could probably apply to other GM platforms as well. Without further ado, let's get into it. Before we get to the car, I'm going to go ahead and explain some things and go through the wiring diagram. Over here, hold on, where's my pen? There we go. Over here, we got the intake air temperature sensor. It's also going to be a math sensor if it's a card style. What we need to do is intercept the wire that goes from the IAT sensor to the ECU. So I'll show you which one it was on my car. On your car, it may be different. So definitely go ahead and go online and check to make sure exactly which wire you need to do. I went ahead and made my snip and my other snip, and then I ran the wires all the way through into the cabin into a switch. I recommend using a push button momentary switch, but basically the one I ended up installing in there was just a basic on-off switch. And then the other side of that switch goes all the way back to the sensor. So basically, in one position, all we have is a signal just like before going from the ECU through the switch back to the IAT sensor, or backwards, or vice versa, or whatever. Because of electronics, what we want to do, the aim, is to, when we activate the switch, what we want to do is force all the electricity to go through these resistors right here. We need a total of about 40 kiloohms. I achieved this. I couldn't find a 40 kiloohm resistor, so I ended up buying maybe like 110 kiloohm resistors. They were like $8 off Amazon or something stupid like that, and ended up putting 4 of those together in line. And we're going to jump that from the one wire to the other wire before the switch. Basically, the way the electricity works is it's always going to take the easiest path. So when the switch is open, all the electricity is going to go this way. But then when we activate the switch, effectively breaking this connection, it's going to force all the electricity to go through this resistor. What that's going to do is that's going to allow the allow the ECU to see that it's still getting some voltage from the IAT sensor. So it's not going to say, if we just didn't have this at all and we just broke the connection, it would basically go into a fault mode and not make the necessary changes that we need it to. But because we've got these resistors in line, it's still getting some voltage, and the ECU is going to say, okay, the sensor's not broken, that really is the reading, and we can make our adjustments accordingly. We'll go ahead and move over to the car, and we'll show you kind of how it's wired in, and then we'll jump into HP tuners. Alright, so over at the car, on mine, it was this wire right here. The one on the very end, let's get that to focus. It was this one. Over here is like the math, and then there's the ground. But over here is the IAT sensor, so I went ahead and spliced that all back in here and retaped that up. The wires run around and go all the way into the cabin. My car's dirty, sue me. The wires go all the way around, and I got it set up on a little switch right there. It's a 2-position switch. I did spend the money on a momentary button, and then when it came time to put all this in, I lost the button, but it's just a little click switch like that. Back is on. Let's go ahead into HP tuners, and we'll see what's going on there. Alright, so we're in VCM editor. We go to the engine, spark, general, down to this IAT modifier right here. What you're going to want to do, sorry, my laptop's going slow, is this section right here. You're going to want to go ahead and make your changes for the amount of timing that you want to pull. You want to pull timing, you definitely don't want to add timing, so make sure it's a negative. We'll go ahead and change this real quick. Say there's negative 20 degrees. We pull it all from there. So up here you could say negative 22 equals, boom. That's going to change it to whatever value you say. You just highlight that section and then change it up there to whatever you want. And then there's another table that we need to adjust. I'm not sure what the best value is so far. I'm still playing with this. Some people have said that the best way to, the best value for building boost is negative, total time in negative 17 degrees. We'll take a look at that in just a little bit. I'm going to X that out. The other bit you want to adjust is your multipliers. Actually, I need to change this. I'm changing all of this to 1. Let's go ahead. Say 1 equals. Boom. You want to, what these multipliers do is you'll have your value in the other table, and then in this table it determines what percentage of those other other adjustments are going to get made. So if it's a value of 1, that's going to be basically 100%. Value of 0.5 would be half of the changes. So anyway, we want the full changes, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that, and then we'll go ahead and we'll save that. File. Save. I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and we'll get back when we're in the car. This is going to be easier for me to demonstrate, I think, in Track Addict, because I can't hold the camera, look at HP tuners, drive, look at the boost, and operate the switch all at the same time. So I only have 2 hands. I'm going to go ahead and do a pull. It'll be not even really a pull. It's just going to be a wait to see how long it takes to get into boost. Second gear, lock converter, 40 mile an hour. Alright. Now I'm in boost, which is pretty quick. I should probably do third. I'm in residential streets and shit. Alright, let's get back down to 40. In boost. That was a lot quicker. I built so fast. Guys, we're back in HP tuners. This is the going out and driving I just did. Gonna go ahead and look at these. I'll know when the switch is activated because the IATs will drop down to wherever it is. But I believe these were the 2 pulls that I did. Let me just look at this real quick. Alright, so these were the 2 pulls I did. No anti-lag and then anti-lag. I'm gonna point out, so I guess that's spark degrees. We got, what's the KPA? There's the map right there. And then the intake air temperature degrees are right there. Then there's whatever values there. So I'm just gonna play this at normal speed. Throttle into boost. I'm gonna slow that down to half speed. Let me go back. Alright, so we throttle, no, we're not throttling. We're about to throttle in. Anytime today, come on, mate. Throttle in, boost. Alright. Not bad for a rear mount. Let's go ahead and move on to the other one. There's the anti-lag. It's about to be engaged. It's engaged. We're in boost already, and then we're flooring it. So like we're already in boost before we're even going. So that's evidence it works. Let's go ahead and pause it here. Pause. All right. So the scroll back. Oh my God. All right. Boom. It's on. We're at 80 psi. I'm just gonna right arrow it. Boost is climbing. This is a mile an hour. Do I have mile an hour? Mile an hour 39. We're still at 39. Boost is climbing. We're at 40 mile an hour. Staying at 40. Boost is climbing. It's still on. We're still at 40. 110, 112. Still climbing boost. Still climbing boost. 125. Ish, still at 40 mile an hour, 130. Switch has been switched. Timing jumps back up. I'm wondering what the spark degrees was on that. Yeah, we're at -9, -10. I guess I could probably ramp that in and do a little bit more to get down to -17. But anyway, it climbed boost. So it did what it was supposed to do. About $10 to $15 to $20 worth of parts, anti-lag.